A little bit sick, but it's getting better. It's getting way better. And today I'm gonna be a little bit selfish. Oh. See? Can't even be funny because then it all comes out again. Be a little bit selfish and I'm gonna talk about myself. I'm tired of talking about everybody else. Talk about myself. Do I talk about myself? So would you believe me if I told you that I was doing, you guys know the movie Fast and the Furious, right? Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Would you believe if I told you that I was doing Fast and the Furious before that movie came out? Because I believe that the first part came out in 2001. I was doing that before that year. I'm going to tell you some stories. What's up, guys? If you guys have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, and enjoy my shenanigans, because at the end of the day, this is for entertainment and learning purposes. So if you want to watch how to bake a cookie or make a pie, you are on the wrong channel. Yes. So back in the day when I was working for the family in Mexico, and my job was to get the car from point A to point B, that being Apatzingán, Michoacán, all the way through Mexico, all the way through the United States, all the way to Chicago. It would take me 3 days to get there. And there was a group of us. There was usually 6 to 7 cars all at once. And they were all sports cars. They were all Nissan 300ZX. Fully loaded. They're 2 doors. If you guys look them up, they're a sports car. And the reason why is that their gas tank is so big that you're able to put in up to 40 kilos in there and still be able to run for 10 hours at max speed. When I say max speed, is that we were all doing about 100 to 110 trying to get out of Mexico. Back then in those early 90s, the hard part was to get the cars out of Mexico, because the government at the time was the biggest one stopping everything, having control and everything. So they had army checkpoints, they had federal checkpoints, state checkpoints. So they had checkpoints at different locations. So, we would have insight on what route to take. And this is one of the biggest reasons why, if you guys follow me and seen my stories, is how I got caught, is that I got sloppy and I didn't listen. There was a certain time that I had to cross over, whether it was Laredo or Juarez, to be able to make it. There was a certain time that I had to pass through the middle part of Mexico, where it's San Luis, Matamoros, that whole area right there. There was a certain time that I had to leave Michoacán, go through Morelia, then Guanajuato, and then come all the way up. And usually it was a total of 6 cars. Like I said, all Nissan 300ZX. They're sports edition cars. They were pretty fast. So we would be flying through the highways. At that time, there was only 2 paid highways in Mexico. One that went from Guadalajara all the way up, and one that was on the other side towards the Gulf. We would follow each other non-stop. We would be fucking just going like non-stop. Usually we used to have a dummy car in front that led the way, and everybody would all follow in the back. But we would drive pretty freaking fast through Mexico because, like I said, at the end of the day, the mission was to get to Chicago, and the hardest part was getting it out of Mexico. Because once we got to the border and you got stuck in all that traffic, all those cars, there's hundreds of cars trying to cross through, hundreds. You would not believe how many people are coming through back and forth, back and forth. You get to the window, they ask you if you're an American citizen. Yes, I'm an American citizen. Usually they'll ask you like other questions. What high school did you go to? Blah, blah, stuff that an American would like talk like and say, you know. So they ask you these trick questions, and you know, they let you by, like, go ahead. They didn't have x-ray machines. They didn't have scale. Like, if they thought something was up, then they would, you know, pull you over and start checking the car, looking for any cuts on the... that's what they look for. So if they pull you over, and this is how I got caught. They pull you over, they see, like, you're nervous or anything, and then they start checking the car, you know, taking the battery out. They, like... Mexico, there's a saying in Mexico, there's a worse dog, the dog that walks on 2 feet instead of the dog on 4 feet. Because the dog on 4 feet can only smell, the dog on 2 feet can take shit apart. So, you know, when I got caught, they noticed that I was nervous. They noticed that I was, you know, I was on drugs, I was coked out, I was nervous, I was shaky, I wasn't answering the questions right. I had only been in the country for maybe, I think, a day and a half, maybe 2 days. Not even. They were asking me why I was leaving so fast. Obviously, my lies didn't work. They put me up on the ramp, and they weren't very nice. They were. He hit me in the stomach with the rifle, you know, and they brought the tank down, and they hated the fact that I was an American trying to get over on them. So, you know, they brought the tank down. They seen the cut because it's a double tank. So you got the regular tank, and then you got a tank inside that's made out of metal where it's carrying whatever it is that you're bringing, and then to put the fuel tank in there on the side. So it's made by hand, and that's how it was used to cross over, so that way the dogs can't smell it. There's times where it would get messed up because the gas would get in there. There would be like a small leak in the metal box. They wouldn't build it right, and then you would have to like do whatever you had to do to try and just get rid of it. But most of the time it made it back fine. You're talking about 40 keys, you know, that's close to 90 pounds. So, you know, you can do the math. I mean, 6 cars, it's a lot. It's a lot of money rolling through. And back in those days when it was, you know, small families working, it was a lot. So when I got caught, that's what they did. They brought the tank down. They seen the cut. They opened it. You know, I got charged, and I ended up in the Mexican prison. I got greedy, got sloppy, you know. But the thing is that it was a big rush to be driving through Mexico like that, like in 6 cars on a convoy. Flying, you know, doing 100, 110, going through freeways where you're not worried about like cops or speed guns or none of that stuff, and making it all the way into United States. Once we got into United States and crossed over into Laredo, Texas, whatever, you know, of course you actually follow the speed limit once you get into United States, because once you cross over, you're pretty much home. You're there, you know. And it was an experience, man. An experience. I was a kid. I used to like the rush. And, you know, a lot of people ask me if I could go back and change things. And it's a tricky question because, like, I would want to, just because I wasted so much time in prison, and I went through so much, you know, pain and suffering and all this stuff. But then again, that's when I grew the most, and it's who I am today. So I really wouldn't know how to answer that question, to be honest. Like, if I was to change, then maybe I wouldn't be who I am today. So if I remain the same, I am who I am today. It's pretty crazy, huh? But I wanted to share that with you guys. I got another one for you. This one's for you so you can laugh. So when I got home in 2013, I've been saving up. I've been working, saving up, and I buy this Bronco, lifted up, completely refurnished, everything, 15 G's, brand new, but I didn't have a license because my license had got suspended for like 10 years running from the cops on my motorcycle. That's another fucking story. But anyways, I parked it in front of my house where I was living, and I just didn't want to drive it because I couldn't. I didn't have a license. I was trying to be straight. I was trying to follow the law. I was trying to be... This is before wrong is strong, okay? So, yeah, one day I said, fuck it. I want to drive it. It's been sitting in front of my house for 2 months. So I jumped in it, started driving it. If you guys are not familiar with Arizona, they have what they call suicide lanes. They open at certain times and close at certain times. I did not know this. So I'm driving down 7th Street in my big lifted Bronco. I'm on 7th Street in Oak. There's a strip club there. It's called Band-Aids. I make a left. Did not know that the suicide lane was open. A car hits me so hard, it flips the whole truck around, like completely like bent the truck in half. I was just lucky that it was an old truck and it's made out of metal. Flips the whole truck around, right? My first reaction, guess what? I jump out of the truck and I run towards the club. I jump over the wall. I jump over like 3 walls. I get all the way to 3rd Street. Yeah, that was my first reaction, to run. So I call the owner of the truck and I'm like, hey, you need to report the truck stolen. I just got into an accident. I don't have a license. I'm on probation. He's like, do not mess up my name. I'm not gonna do that. You need to do what's right. So I'm like, shit. I need to go back. So here I am, walking back to the scene. Oh shit, I'll never forget this day. And the officer was filling out some paperwork. And I walk up to him and I'm like, excuse me, officer. That's my truck. And he's like, why'd you leave the scene? I was like, honestly, officer, I'm going to tell you the truth. It was my first reaction. I'm so used to running from like the law and when I do stuff that it was my first reaction to run. But then when I came back to my senses, I just came back. So he tells me to sit on the curve. So I sit on the curve and I'm like stressing. I'm like, sir, are you gonna arrest me? He's like, if you were going to jail, you would be in the back of my car already. He's like, I understand. I understand. He's like, I understand that you've been running from the law your whole life. He actually already looked up my name and everything. And he was actually, he understood. He knew. He actually gave me more props for walking back and actually, like, you know, taking responsibility. It's when I started making like small little changes. But remember too, like, that was just the beginning. I still went back to prison after violating. And this is why I say I keep it real with you guys, because I've been trying to get it right for you know, 40 years. And like I told you on the last video, sometimes I make really dumb decisions because I almost feel like a fucking kid in a grown man's body. And sometimes I make really dumb decisions. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to learn as fast as I can, and I'm trying to like just be better. You know, he wrote me a ticket, told me to get out of there. The biggest loss was losing the truck. It was a complete total, no insurance. So that was 15 grand down the drain, like the fastest way. And I had to pay a fine for driving without a license, and it added another year to my suspended license. So that's why when I got out this time, I had to wait a year and then put the breathalyzer on my car and drive it around like that for a whole year, and then got my regular license back. I finally have my regular license back, but it was by doing it all the right way. So this is what I mean, guys. If you live hard, and I say that because I had to walk to work in the summertime, walk to work in the wintertime, and leave early, leave late, get home late. If you live hard, life is easy. Because I ended up getting my license back, and now I could drive. And I still drive like an asshole, but you know, I drive. And if you live easy, then life is hard. And what I mean by that is it cost me 15 grand, the little shenanigan, 500 for the fine, and another year suspended license. So nobody's perfect, man. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody falls. But it's how you get up. It's what you do afterwards. And this is the biggest thing that I promote on my channel. Like I said, I don't glorify nothing that I've done in the past. I actually tell you my stories and my shenanigans so you can learn that anything's possible if you actually start to do what's right and actually want to change. If you want to change, trust me, life gets a lot better. You know, I'm not living that same life no more. It's a little bit harder sometimes, but I don't have to worry about other things that I used to have to worry about before. And that's what it is, man. That is Wrong to Strong. It is a lifestyle. It's not a quick fix. And my name's JC, and I am Wrong to Strong. I hope you enjoyed this video that was about me, because I'm tired of talking about everybody else. I want to be selfish today. I wanted to make it about me. I love you guys. You guys are my family, my supporters. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Hit the like button. Share it. Hey, catch you on the rebound.